The first week of strawberry season 2020 was really a rush of adrenaline. The crop looked beautiful, and there was a lot of buzz about the new drive-through system that they had implemented, but we really had no idea what else was to come.
Even with all the precautions that we knew we had in place going into 2020, a week into the season, we were staring the pandemic straight in the face. We had a worker come up with a fever, and
I think the hardest thing about this season was the uncertainty of dealing with the COVID virus. We, of course, as most of you know, were hit pretty early on with that in our strawberry season, and we were worried about our workers, number one. We worried about our family because we didn't know how things would be.
not only are we just really worried about our workers and their health and trying to make sure they have everything they need, so we were faced with no workforce. We were down our 14 guys to pick, and basically the workforce was me, Ken, and Dad, and we were all trying to isolate from each other best we could. But,
Matt and Ken quarantined away from us and everyone for almost 2 weeks just to be safe. Thankfully, no one in the family tested positive, but it was still just a scary and stressful time because it was early in the pandemic and there were still a lot of unknowns about the virus.
They need, but we're also trying to figure out how we're able to salvage the rest of the season once they get out of isolation, because strawberries for us is our big ticket item. I mean, it accounts for well over half of what we do in a year. And if we would just leave it unpicked until they get out of isolation and been able to come back to the farm, there would be nothing to come back to. A strawberry plant shuts down if it's not picked, so you have to keep them picked. So we focused on our produce because we knew we could keep that going and maintain that. Me and Ken trying to pick 15 acres of strawberries was just not even feasible. So
after Matt and his family realized that they were going to be without a workforce for 10 to 14 days, they were trying to figure out, what are we going to do here? We can't leave our berries unpicked for 2 weeks. We won't have a season to come back to. Matt said to me one night, I'm thinking about calling Houston and seeing if Freedom House wants some more berries to sell or has time to come pick some of ours. And I said, I think that's a great idea. Freedom House is a nonprofit residential addiction recovery program for mothers. They house mothers and their children while they're in the program.
So we called up our friends at Freedom House, and they were right in the middle of their first season of picking strawberries, and kind of explained the situation, and they were able to get some volunteers together and staff that they have, and they were able to come out to our farm and pick strawberries. And you know, it was such a blessing for us because, you know, they were able to help keep our plants clean, and that would extend our season after we got our help back. And, you know, later on, talked to Houston about it, and he said with berries, you know, they picked from their farm and from what they were able to pick here, that, you know, they made enough money to be able to frame another house, which was just a huge thing for their organization. It was just a blessing to us that they were able to help us out so much as well.
You know I'm back, like I never left. Another sprint, another step, another day, another breath. Been chasing dreams, but I never slept. I got a new attitude and a lease on life is a peace of mind. Seeking to find I can sleep when I die. Want a piece of the pie, got the keys to the ride, and I'm straight. I'm on my way, get up my way. I'm running late, what can I say? I heard you died twice. Once when they bury you in the grave, and the second time is the last time that somebody mentions your name. So when I leave here on this earth, did I take more than I gave? Did I look out for the people, or did I do it all for fame? Legend is Exodus, searching for euphoria.